At this time of the week, it is a pleasant surprise to see this number of people here, some of whom I have known. Hello. Some are new faces. So is he. Does anybody know him? Does he have a name? Do you think Dino can introduce himself? We'll find out soon, but only if none of you would do that. My name is Terry. Brian introduced me as top executive, someone very hard to find, nice stuff. That is the key reason I appear in events like this, to feel good about being introduced. But is that enough for you? Even if that's enough for me? I guess not. I suppose you guys are here today for certain other reasons. It could be because the poster is good, my profile picture looks nice, maybe some of the words kind of hit upon you, maybe. So I want to invest a little bit of time. We have 70 minutes, we will end before 8. Time discipline is utmost important. So I'll keep to that. But I still think it is useful to invest a little bit, but not too much. 2 persons. Anyone? Would you like to introduce yourself in a minute? In 1 minute. Anybody? 2 persons. Okay. Gentlemen first. Gentlemen next. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I have an office at the Bookies Junction with the commune. I run a corporate secretarial firm, help companies register and do all the fiduciary functions in Singapore. And I also help another company, which is outsourcing, telesales outsourcing. That's what we do. I'm here to learn from Terry.
Thank you. Terry, that's me.
Tips on how to speak, public speaking. I think it's not my favorite thing to do, to say gently, but it's an important thing to do. So anything I can pick up today, I would love to.
Wonderful. Did I get your name right? Daniel, is that?
Yes.
Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. Yes, have a seat. And gentlemen?
Thank you, Greg. Hi everyone, I'm Wei-Jie. I actually work here. What I do is a Japanese language learning app. So we realize people find it challenging to learn Japanese in an academic curriculum. They want to be able to speak the language relevant to their day-to-day life. So I have a mobile app. You can take a picture and you are able to learn the words relevant to a situation. So my background is in AI machine learning, and I'm here today because I want to learn from Terry as well in terms of how to do impromptu public speaking. It's something that I feel is a very valuable skill anywhere you go.
Yes.
So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Did I get the name correct again?
Wei-Jie.
Wei-Jie. Okay, Wei-Jie. Have a seat. Thank you. Now, together, let's convert what you had just now, like want to clap like this, want to clap very loud, into one resounding round that will be the benchmark for this evening's applause. 3, 2, 1. Do you like this? Do you think we can do better than this, or are you quite happy with this? Let's try. Can be better. Louder than that, and that shall be our benchmark this evening. 3, 2, 1. Applause for everybody. You realize applause can help us with something very important in today's topic, which is to speak on your feet. Speak on your feet? We know of thinking on our feet. But what is speaking on our feet? Can we speak seated? Yeah, why not? Let's turn the slide. And I'll show you a person who is able to think on his feet, speak seated. This will take a minute and 18 seconds. Let's hear from Joseph. Raise your hand if you know who he is. Anybody? He's worth noting. Joseph Tsai. The English name may not be as resounding as the Chinese name. Cai Chongxin. And who he works for might remind you of something even bigger. How about Alibaba? Who runs Alibaba today? This man. Not Jack Ma anymore. But that's fine. What is his role in Jack Ma's fortune? More importantly, what has that got to do with impromptu speaking? Does this person speak like an American? Do you hear the accent? Well, he does. But it does not matter. What matters is he is relaxed. Do you agree with me? Is he relaxed because of the way he's seated? Is he relaxed in the way he projects his voice? Although it's not very loud in the beginning. I will invite you, if you have not known who is Joseph Tsai, take note of it. Well, he is not the #1 speaker on TED Talks or any speaking circuit. He is a business leader. And why do I cite him? Because he's far from perfect, and yet it works. So this is the name who is able to draw in investment money. So you have an app which you want to draw investments, you would like to take a leaf from him. You have a business practice where though you don't like to speak out loud to people, but you would like people to know you. Because we know that it's not who we know, but who knows us. Is there a quick way of getting there? Yeah. What if someone were to use part of your speech to share with other people, and that being an inspiration? Today, we are not here for perfection. I'm not here to correct your grammar, nor your diction, nor your choice of words. Be who you are. Afterwards, there will be an opportunity for some of us to stand here. And I wish it would be the people whom I've seen only for the first time. That means strangers about 5 to 15 minutes ago. There are some among here whom I have the opportunity of working with, training together. That's great. Keep at it. But there are those of you who are here, I'm meeting for the first time. If you allow yourself the opportunity, just like our two gentlemen just now, come forward afterwards for our practice. This practice is called impromptu speech. But since impromptu sounds like 3-syllable English, kind of tough, shall we make it simpler, like think on your feet, speak on your feet. It's also known as speaking off the cuff. But even if it is speaking off the cuff, it doesn't mean there's no consideration. Joseph has spoken well. He has certain charisma. It helps that he is a billionaire, and it helps that he has been educated in Yale, and he is a professor. It helps that he is a professional in many ways. But every one of us started somewhere. We didn't start off as a professor. We didn't start off as the top business executive in the business circle. We didn't start off as changing the landscape of business like Alibaba did. And he's the guy who helped Jack Ma turn Alibaba around. You can read about that. More importantly is I'm using him as not a perfect but apt example of speaking on your feet. What I like about him, 2 main points. One, he's very relaxed, and secondly, he's very prepared. How can being relaxed and prepared stand together, sit together? I think it does. If the two gentlemen's introduction just now is anything to go by, it actually reminded me that you are either very passionate or you know your stuff very well. Chances are both of you have both. You know your stuff well and you're passionate about what you have. Utilize that as your key. Know your stuff and you're passionate. I do not know of a better way to get started. And since you have it, that's wonderful. Allow us to turn the page, and I'm about to end the theory part of today. Thank goodness. Okay, the next page is something like this. Nothing original, you can find it all over. ChatGPT, you can find it on Google, you can find it everywhere, but you can't find me there. And that's the whole point. Today, I bring you just 5 steps. And for those of you who have heard me speak before, you have not heard me speak this, because I copied this from some other people. Today, you can look at any social media, you get lessons almost free. It's like 3 minutes to 5 minutes short bites on how you can speak very well. They all can point towards this. PREPS, straightforward. We say prep is preparation, you are prepared. But what is PREPS? I merely add an S to it. So, it goes like this, some 5 steps. Since one hand can count, it can't be too hard for us. Let's start with making a point. Today, my point is every one of us can make a speech in 1 to 2 minutes that leave a desirable impression. And all you need to do is to utilize PREPS. This is not the only way, this is not the best way, but it is a way that let us make this 1 hour, 10 minutes worth it. It's my way of showing you how it can be done. PREPS, it starts off with a point. Did I just make a point? All of us here can make sense via a speech, 1 to 2 minutes, and leave a desirable impression. That means an impression deep enough for me to think of, maybe it's not too bad an idea to be more prepared for my Tokyo trip next. Maybe I should find out from Wei Jie how that can be done. At my own time via the app that he's researching. Maybe it's not too bad an idea to just go check, have I incorporated my company in a proper manner? What else is left to be done? Doesn't hurt to know, because Daniel sounds like a guy who cares and wouldn't mind me asking stupid questions. He's not like that cop sack that I know of before. These are desirable impressions. And how are you going to make that? They did just now, for which we give them resounding applause. Afterwards, we'll try it again. Except it won't be so easy this time, like introducing yourself. We will have a topic. So you're either going to stand here to give a speech as a practice afterwards, or you're going to spring a question. You're going to spring a question. It can be any question. If need be, I will moderate it. We have half an hour, which is about half of today. We're going to do that. So remember, whenever we start responding to something, start with a point. The point is, it could be a pain point, for example. Too many of us wasted too much time and money incorporating a company that we could have spent tons more effort just to make it better. Why do you incorporate a company? So that someone can buy into it, someone can own part of it? And what if you unintentionally sow the seeds of trouble, only to have to reverse it at a high price? Would you not want to speak to me? I'm making a point. It's a pain point. How many of you have set up a company only to know that it is so troublesome, you might as well not set it up? There is a pain point, for example. But you need to have a reason, the reason to your point. So when you have a pain point, the Singaporeans are good at complaining, isn't it? Complaint and pain point are very close to each other, so we are kind of halfway there. A reason. A reason is we spend too much time and money, so we want to address that. That is the reason. Elaborate. Very useful to have example. Example, in my past 8 years as a professional COPSEC, half of the time I help people clean up what they could have avoided. That's to cite a case in point, a certain Mr. Tan, so on and so forth. And in the end, Mr. Tan solved his problem, but he realized that he could avoid it in the first place. So what does that tell us? Throw back a question. You have one case. Finally, you still have time, get another one. Carol. Carol is a great one. She didn't know she did all the right things. But when she did, she offered to join me. And I'm glad they accepted her. Another story of someone who is very gifted in doing certain things. Now, when you elaborate, you bring in real cases. Ideally, your own. So you can start thinking now. When you elaborate on your own. Some of us like to talk about life stories. It's a good start. Some of us think that people are not interested in our stories. You could be more mistaken. Elaborate using your own stories and come back to the point. That means repeat yourself. Why? Because while you are saying it, while Wei Jie is talking about Japanese app, people could be thinking of a Burmese girlfriend. You could be drifted somewhere. So it's good to state back that the next time you're going to make your Tokyo trip, it pays to know certain basic language. And if you do not have enough time, you can use my app. It could save you some good yen. A yen for your thought point. And finally, signify. Now, I think no one here have heard about me talk about signify, but you could have heard some other trainers talk about signify. Signify means to elevate your point to a higher level. It usually is risky because it can come across as pompous. For example, Daniel could have made this point about, it's never about setting our company for ourselves. In my 10 years in this practice, I found that practically nobody set up a company for themselves, you realize? They always set up for someone else, whom they do not know. Well, we don't know whether our children will take our company, but we know that when it's well run enough, there'll be others like you here that want to have a part of the action. It's never about myself, it's always about someone else. So when you say something like this, it's not just some admin guy take your 50, 500, oh, cheaper than someone else, set up a company with aircraft and give you like little biz file. No, it's more than that. Because I am helping you design your future. Even though you don't know where to start, but I'm going to be with you. When you say something like this, you are elevating it. The Chinese like to cook, so they add some salt, they add some vinegar. We call it 加盐加醋, which means spice it up. Why not? But in the case of an app, it could be a romantic story. How many of you think that you can never win the hand of your dream girl? Japanese dream girl. But I have more stories to share, but at least an app is a good way to start. It's never about just an app. It's about human connection. We all know the beautiful things about sushi, but do you really understand the culture behind it? From the app, we're going to give you more. It is the attitude that matters more than anything else. When the Japanese sees that you're struggling with Japanese, they understand. But when they see you use an app to at least bridge their embarrassment, they are impressed. So when you say something like that, you elevate your app. It's not just aptitude for the lack of it. I can't speak Japanese to save my life, but I have the attitude to prove it, and it's Weijia's app. So if I can do that for two gentlemen who introduce themselves, think about what we can do for one another using PREPS. It's a form of preparation, yes, preparation with a point to it, with reason to back it, elaboration. Elaboration can be 1 story, 2 stories, 3 stories, or more, depending on how much time you have. So I'm going to set the ground rules for today's practice. That's the key. Theories are just theories. Anybody can say this, but only we can co-create and even curate this evening. That's what the next half an hour is going to happen to be. Reiterate your point and then signify. If you need to write this down or take a picture of this, that's fine, because afterwards you're going to practice along these guidelines. And even if you forget and you just let yourself go like this, let's see the brighter points of what you have made. Do they conform to something like that? This is merely a structure. It is not meant to be followed like Bible truth, but it helps guide us, especially when we are clueless how to get started and even how to continue. Okay, let's look at what I have for your next slide. This. Dino didn't say that he will take part in this, but if I meet with silence, I guess he will come to life. You want to see Dino come to life, or would any one of you just come forward? Anyone? We have a practice. Impromptu means you don't know. I have this and you don't know, you are the one coming up, but the next moment you are, and we get started with it. Anybody? I'm giving the priority to, any one of you. Yeah, could be Wei Jie, come forward. Okay, Wei Jie, we have 2 ways about it.
Okay.
Either we invite people here to ask you a question for which you respond using 1 to 2 minutes. I will time you. When I click 1 time, that means you have half the time left. So let's go by 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will click 1 time. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, I'll click 2 times. Okay. When I click 3 times in a row, you have to stop within 10 seconds. Is it clear?
That's good.
Yeah, there's another choice. Another choice is always a redemption, right? Anyone could ask you a question. And this question is meant for you to respond in 1 to 2 minutes. Minimum 1 minute, yeah? Maximum 2 minutes plus 10 seconds. If you find that it's better off that you hear me, then you will throw the question at me and I'll respond. Right. It's a choice between whether you get the practice, I get the practice, or he get the practice.
Oh, that's okay.
Only when I cannot answer the question, so he will come to life and you better run for your life. When Dino is alive, I think he'll first eat this and next he will eat the rest of us.
Sure.
Okay, anyone here wants to rattle off with your first question? Asking the right questions is at least as important as having the right answers. Anyone? Throw a question. It could be very ruthless, we don't know, yeah? That's why it's impromptu. Anyone? Yes, Daniel.
Are you able to use the app without having internet connection, for example?
Okay, I think I'll take that question.
Sure. Yes.
The short answer now is no, because we require using the internet connection in order to access the server. But that's on the technical side. I fully understand as a user why it is important for you to, maybe you on board the plane, you are going to Tokyo, and when you touch down, you would like to be able to speak to the immigration officer in Japanese. That will leave a good first impression and give you the confidence when you first step foot in the country. So to answer your question, right now it's not possible, but we definitely want to do that in the future because one of the top complaints on Reddit that we have done our research for is people complain that they are not able to use Duolingo, other mobile apps while they are on the plane. So for the 8 hours, they could have been using that for productive time. Imagine like you are cramped on the plane, you want to be able to just learn some basic phrases because you have 8 hours you're bored. And you're excited. You're imagining yourself going to a restaurant ordering in Japanese. So I very relevant. So, one more minute.
Yeah.
If I may ask, what excites you? Have you been to Japan?
Yeah,
What excites you about stepping into maybe Tokyo or Japan?
definitely the food.
The food.
Yeah.
What is a favorite food of yours?
I guess it's usually choosing to be either ramen or sushi.
Ramen or
Yeah,
sushi?
the two.
It's my favorite dessert. It's my favorite dessert.
Yes.
I remember eating a ramen in Tokyo. It's the best. Simple and nice. So to answer your question, yes, definitely in our next version of the app, we intend you to be able to use it on the plane offline without internet connection.
Yes, the landing part, being able to find a taxi or ask the way around when you don't yet have the internet is often a good usage.
Oh, well, that is a brilliant idea. So just to wrap things up, I think thank you for that scenario. We're definitely thinking about putting it on the app. So when you are on the plane, when you touch down, you'll be able to speak to the taxi driver and ask him where is your favorite sushi or ramen place. Thank you very much for your time.
Applause for Wei Jie. Wei Jie, stand with me. Stand with me a little. We have time. Yes. Now, how do you think you fare? Don't worry about PREPS yet. Think about you would have responded to other people before on this subject of yours. Just now, compared to any time before, how do you think you have fared?
I think
From 1 to 10, if 10 is the highest and 1 the lowest, how would you rate yourself?
maybe 7.
Okay. Given that it is a 7, what are the areas you think you have done well?
I think I took my time. I felt that I had fun on the stage. I was excited about speaking to the audience and not just myself.
Why so? Is it because it's a topic you like a lot?
It is a topic that
It helps a lot?
Yeah. And I got excited that he got excited about my ad.
Daniel shows interest in you.
Yes.
Okay, so help too. That's point number 1, which is not even in PREPS, which is stay with an area that we are passionate and interested in. Just give you energy. So if it is about something else you are not familiar with, what is the furthest from you in terms of interest level?
Interest level, that's a good question because it's something that I do not think of it often.
Like eating mushrooms. Do you like to eat mushrooms?
Actually, I do.
You do. That's very tough one, yeah? Do you like to do housework?
Maybe housework.
Yeah. So when something is far away from your liking, it takes energy away from you. But even then, it can help. Now, what I'm going to do next is also to ask you, what do you think you evidently can do better on? Immediately upon finishing this 2 minutes, you wish you had done better. What might that be?
I think it is about maybe not only engaging him, but the wider audience. That's something I feel.
How would you be able to do that?
Maybe I could ask a question that opens up to the floor.
Very good. How about telling a story?
I could do that better as well.
Okay. Do you want to hear how I would tell a story? How would someone who doesn't know your app tell a story? Okay, this is makeup. You can go something like this just for the benefit of us. Impromptu speech can be bluff all your way through. But so long as the other party doesn't know. But I don't mean to bluff. I mean to show you how I would do that if I were you. Now, I'm Wei Jie and I'm authority on this. I know where the shortcomings of my app. When I hear Daniel, I know Daniel is interested because he's asked one of the hardest to answer. The question is, without internet, can your app function? I really like that questions. I get asked 9 times out of 10. I never get tired of that question. What you have just done in these first 8 seconds, you've acknowledged the validity of this question. You will make Daniel feel very good, don't you? Because you're validated, right? And it remains the toughest question. No internet, come on. No internet now. All of us will be looking up, wouldn't we? Because we have no phone to look at. But that is too tough for you. Could it be any easier for my app? No. My app works beautifully when there is constant update. We can tell you what's coming up. We can also offer you what is the best way to respond. But without that in the air, can we still function? Yes, but not now. Let me share with you a scenario we've been working on. We have not told anybody before, but I want to share with all of you. So this is your way of engaging everybody. In the laboratory, using artificial intelligence, the most challenging thing is to think of all the possible scenarios. But as soon as you have covered all, new ones come. It was the day we were having our pizza. Is it any weird that all these research people take pizza only? Yeah, because we just eat to live. As we eat, a scenario came about. To our surprise, the machine asked me a question instead of we asked them a question. And this question we thought is so human, maybe the machine has become one themselves. So elaborate on it. Now, it is something that we just snatched from the sky, but you have a lot of interesting stories, some of which you can just reserve to tell in your favorite domain. People will listen, oh, so these people in the AI lab actually have funny things happening. They will want to listen because they will have bragging rights to someone. But you know what happens in those labs? They actually, apart from eating pizza, they also talk to the machine. No, the machine talk to them even. So when you do something like that, you increase the level of engagement. PREPS, where do you think it falls into?
I think it's elaborate.
Yes, elaborate. Elaborate using your arsenal of questions. In your own area, you would have. Easy, easy, easy. But if it's outside, you have to make it up by doing comparison. So you don't like housework, right? You don't like housework. Do you know that even in my area, there are certain things we don't like to do? You can throw back the questions. Yeah, you see. Even in AI, even in app development, there are certain things you really hate to do. It's like housework to me. Anybody knows that? Throw it to them. Then they will throw it back to you. See? You engage them. But because this is something that you don't have energy, so you have to take from them. Throw it at them. So you achieve two goals. Engage them and you don't have to answer the question because they will are offering to you. Right. Yes? This is thinking and speaking on our feet. But it has certain formula. I don't advise that we copy the formula, but we try to absorb what works for us. So today, because it's you, it's not someone else, it's your app, not someone else's app, it's Daniel's question, not anybody else's question, that I can respond in this manner. Never before in any other such engagements. But the formula is there. We think and therefore speak on our feet. Someone else will come over afterwards and it could be another scenario. Okay, good?
Okay.
Good?
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Wei Jie.
Thank you very much, Greg.
And now you have the privilege. Okay, let's 3, 2, 1, give him another round of applause. Is there anyone here you want to hear from? You want to arrow people to send?
Maybe I should choose someone who has not come up to the stage and some very good. Who? Maybe I'll ask who would like to come up here.
You're so democratic. Nice. Go ahead. Yeah.
Any chance you would like to come up? Okay.
Great. Come, have a handshake.
What's her name? Cedric. Nice to meet you. I'll pass the floor. Sure.
Hi, Cedric. I'm Terry. Good to meet you. Thanks for the courage, and it's all well nice. Would you like any one of them to throw you a question for you to respond to? Okay. Anybody? Anna.
Sorry?
Why most of the men doesn't care about their personal image?
Doesn't care about personal image. Well, I do care only to a certain extent. The only reason why I believe majority of men in our words do not care about their appearance and so on is because we are so focused in other things. Men are born to be problem solvers. We like to solve problems. And I'm not sure about all the men here, but I just want to get over it. Right? I don't enjoy a plate of chicken rice, I just want to be food. Right? And I've ever told my wife that because I'm from the research and development field, so I ever told my wife that one day if I was to invent a pill that once I eat, I'll never feel hungry. Once I eat, I never have to sleep. I'll do it. Right? So that's just my opinion. For men, you just have to get on things, try to solve the problem, there's a pen, and just keep a bare minimum of okay, at least I shave, at least I cut the berries, at least I nice berry. That's the basic. And throwing back the question to the audience, why do you think women want to keep themselves?
Okay, so that's 1 minute and go on. Some more.
I'm not sure about how you see it, but men and women are different, right? We emotional, and you all like to hear good stuff. Right? So, in order to get the attention of both sexes, this is what I observe anyway. It's not gospel truth, but this is what I observe when my girlfriend in the past brings me to a group of friends, introduces me to a group of friends. Their first question is, what does he do? Right? But when I bring her to my group of guy friends, the first question is, how does she look? So that's the difference. Maybe I could explain.
Good. Thank you. Let me get your name again.
Cedric.
Cedric. Okay. An applause for Cedric. Okay. Stand with me. This time I won't ask you how you rate yourself. Okay. Let's have a sudden change. In your heart, when you heard that question from Anna, why do the men don't care about their self-image? How do you feel?
I feel
You like the question? There's certain truth in it. You agree to some extent.
we keep bamming them. Not,
Now, it's on the emotion part. Do you like that question?
personally, I'm comfortable with the question. I'm not sure if I would like it. I would like it more if it appeals to what I'm doing.
How about this? What would be your desired question? What you wish would have come to you as a question?
What is the purpose of life?
What is the purpose of life?
Philosophical question.
Okay. The reason I'm asking this is for all of us to think about, if you want to think on your feet and speak on your feet, be impromptu about it, it is very useful to know what you like. You like food, you like life, philosophy, you like numbers, you like research, have that one because that is your anchor.
Yeah.
Why like and dislike? Like gives energy, dislike generally don't. Impromptu speaking are usually very short and unlikely to do 2 hours lecture on it. But with 1 or 2 minutes, you want to leave a desirable impression, you need to come from a position of strength. You will borrow from what you like. It helps to have certain interests. Even if it is growing vegetables, it's okay. You use it as a reference point. Then you listen to that question. That's key. Let yourself establish whether you like it or not. Because in PREPS, the first thing is to have a point. In this case, did Anna give a point?
Yeah.
Men don't care about their self-image.
Yeah.
So one way is to repeat this thing just for 2 seconds. Men don't care about self-image. Wow, I can't agree more. Or, yes, I agree. Why? Because you're taking her question into your point. Then you know you check off the part, right? Then you want to reinforce. Reason. Well, the important reason to it is that we got better things to do. So that sounds like you're a dig at her. It means the woman don't have better things to do. Yeah. Figure this. If you could elaborate right away, because you are the philosopher of life, the people who help us see the meaning of life, who are they? Name me a woman. Bo.
Yeah.
Don't have. Aristotle, is he a man?
Yeah.
Socrates? Confucius? Now, this is your strength, isn't it? Because,
I hope. Yeah.
well, philosophy of life, right?
Yeah.
So meaning of life, yeah? So you would have generally more than other people, and you come prepared.
Yeah.
That means in your stomach is all this ink, 墨水, meaning things you know.
Yeah.
So you use that to respond. It's not to debate, huh? It's to elaborate on men have better things to do. Or they thought. You only have 1 or 2 minutes. So when you elaborate on it, you can also please the ladies, which you did when you throw the question back to the ladies, right? So one way that you can play with elaboration, given that your inclination is meaning of life, you would have always 2 sides of it. Otherwise, meaning will not be rich enough. You'll notice this, when I talk to Cedric, I am customizing to him. Since he is leaning towards the meaning of life, he would have thought about that. And meaning of life wouldn't have been unidimensional.
Yeah.
When we say the men have better things to do, like thinking about the meaning of life, but the ladies have interesting things in life. Simply because the men are visual. Because we are visual and the ladies have taken pains to doll themselves up. Look at our ladies here. Don't they all look gorgeous? Then you can let us.
Oh.
Because the men here are not likely to offend the ladies.
True.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, almost half of us. So we will, okay lah, then they clap. Right? So they clap, you find that you are getting energy from them. and you can elaborate on it. That in fact there's meaning behind this dressing up. Simply because firstly the men are visual, and secondly, well, they don't dress up. So from the ladies, they can tell that, oh, we are here not caring about self-image because we want to compliment the ladies. How do you tell you are looking good? Because I don't look so good. That's one way. But of course, PREPS, you need to come back to the point. The point being that, well, the men don't care so much about their self-image. You have repeated that, and finally there's elevation, signify it. You can consider. After all, you dwell on the meaning of life. Is there something important about caring less about your self-image? That's where you think on your feet. At this point, do you have something whom you can elevate about what's a great thing, good thing about not caring so much about our self-image?
Yeah, I mean, part 2 impromptu.
No part 2, but just on reflection, yeah, what do you think? If you now have an opportunity just to add on to the significance of men don't care so much about their self-image.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say that we don't care. It is more towards we will do the minimum. Not because we have better things to do, right? Or less interesting to do, but we are made to be problem solvers. So if my wife were to tell me, hey, you look really bad, and that is a problem, and I will go solve it, right? But if my wife says, it's fine, we can go up, right? And I say, okay, this is a standard, let's go up, and I'll keep this thing. You see?
Very good. Do you hear that? You see, we reiterate that we don't care so much about our self-image, and that's because it hasn't become a problem. We don't exist alone, the men, nor the ladies. As soon as between the sexes or the gender, the lack of self-image or looking good enough is going to impact negatively, we will do something about it. Then you can raise the part about your wife, and you elevate this part about it's not we don't care, but we are devoting our energy to do something else. And because of that, we create the equality a lot better. Note something, we're not here to debate with Anna, but to respond to her. So long as you feel that at every point you're respecting her question and answering it with your own point of view, she may not agree, but she will still appreciate it. All right? Okay. Do you like that, guys? Okay, let's another round of applause. Thank you for Cedric. Now, we could still have time. Oh, you have a question, Daniel?
Yeah, so what if he doesn't agree with the question and he still wants to answer? So will he go along with it, or do you want to?
Okay. Do you like that question, or do you have a rebuttal to that question, or the different perspective?
My question is, why do you say that? That would be very interesting. So to understand where the question comes from.
Okay. Yes. Now, if you do that, then it won't be impromptu speaking. It will be a discussion, maybe as a debate, right? So, good point. We are very quick internally to say that I like or don't like. Now, like or don't like is not a matter of you like or like the person, but the viewpoint. So, if you have a different viewpoint, you can also have 1 or 2 minutes of the impromptu speech. But first, we need to acknowledge that it is there. Len?
But positively, the speaker just now can always ask back, why not?
Why not? As in, why not care less about the self-image? He did by adding that this frees him and the man to do other things. That means he's justified to pay less. The energy goes into something else.
Yeah, positively, the speaker can speak about the self-image, which is important in the marketplace.
He can agree with it, but first he would have, and he did, agree to what the men generally don't care so much compared to the ladies. Yeah, and he can go on to say that, but what if we do? Wouldn't that add a lot more power to the things we do? You can even cite examples. We don't all have to look like Elon Musk. We can also look stylish like Steve Jobs, even James Cook. It's your opinion. Whoever you think dresses well, you can say that. Yeah. Even Joseph Tsai looks all right, and so on. I'd also like your point, Daniel, on if you don't agree with it, how do we think on our feet, speak on our feet, and respond to it? And the way to go about it would be to first acknowledge the validity of this question. Because that is the most peaceful way for you to buy time and also to bridge over. Now, if I'm very quick and say that, I don't agree. You can, but it takes a lot more effort. Consider this. 2 ways. You think on your feet. You say, I don't agree. The question in that case is not why, but do. Do men pay less attention to their self-image than women? No, they don't. They pay enough, equals, or even more. That's one viewpoint. But if the question is why, the best way is to accept it and say, is a question that I think a lot about too. I don't have a definite answer, but I tend to agree that the men don't. And as to why, me being a man myself, is most of the time my mind is on something else. My mind is on the ladies who have done so well in their self-image, and I'm already basking in the goodness. We are visual people. Okay, you can say that, but you can also come back to in what way being more attentive to your self-image could help you as well. Yeah. So the whole point about this one is we don't have to be quick to say no. You can accept it first and just turn it back because you still have 2 minutes. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do now is anyone here want to have a practice with a question that you bring. You can either ask me, ask someone, or you respond it yourself, and I give you a commentary on it. Anyone? We have tried 2 rounds. People ask you questions. How about you ask yourself the question and you respond to it? Len? There? Very good. Do you want to do that over here or you want me to respond? I respond. Okay. I respond, you guys got to time me. Does anybody want to volunteer to be the timer? Hi. Hey, nice. You be my timer? Yeah. So you just snap 1 time, I know I have 1 minute to go. You snap 2 times, I have 30 seconds, and you snap 3 times, I will have to stop within 10 seconds. Your question again, please?
How do you overcome the fear of public speaking?
Okay. Many a times I have someone rushing to me. It could be a Susan and say, hey, Terry, I have to give a speech soon. They say that I have to address the crowd. I am freaking out. How many of you are like Susan? When asked to address a crowd, you want to run away. You want to hide in here. How many of you? Show of hands. I'm like you too. Susan wants to know how, not why and what. She said, how? I told her, take a deep breath. Seems to help. And then what? My mind is blank. So 2 is put something in your stomach. You mean food? Burgers? Yeah, something like that. You see, Susan is very good with her fingers. She has green fingers. You would be good for something. I am very sure. Let's bring that out. Your fear of public speaking is because you expect too much of yourself. Don't. Just acknowledge that you are good for something and that's about it. We can't be good in everything. Talk about rocket science, can you? Talk about how to save the world, can you? Talk about macroeconomics, can you? No, but I can talk about plants. Do that. So thirdly is when you meet the crowd, hello, I'm Susan. I'm very nervous, but so are you. Because I'm going to talk about something that you may not know, but I like a lot about plants. Talk about that. Talk, that is elaboration. There's 30 seconds more. And we find that life is very much like growing plants. We don't know how it will turn out, but I always shower it with some love and passion. And we don't do it alone. We ask for the sunlight, we ask for the rain, and we just leave it there. If it works, works. If it's not, that's not at the end of the day. We can always try it again. So with this, you have done a public speaking. Just 3 points to know. Take a deep breath. From your stomach, take out something you're strong in and talk about it and link it to what you are asked to do. Because when you don't know what you have to talk about, you'll be nervous, of course. But because I know I'm here talking about how not to be nervous in public speaking, I will come prepared, drawing on what I have. So ultimately, PREPS. Make a point from what you feel. Be authentic. We don't have to be the genius. We are not Elon Musk. Give it a reason. One will do. Not many. Don't have to defend it. I think the public speaking is key. It saves our lives. That is a point. The reason is that most of us know how to do our work, but we don't know how to let people know that we do our work well. That's the reason. Elaboration. I have seen people get promoted way beyond me. When my first job, I get very angry and indignant. But I didn't know the key to that is knowing how to speak out so that people know I'm capable of something. So when Daniel promoted in front of me, I was angry. When Wei Jie did the same and Cedric did the same, I stopped being angry. I attended Terry's public speaking workshop. And soon after, I could find that I could match up. And when I get my first promotion, I quit because I go join Anna's company. She could assess me that I've made a progress. So ultimately, there's no point getting angry. Get even with ourselves and even up. So when you say something like that, you are allowing yourself to move from P to R to E. And the point is, we don't just have to do work well. We need the people to know that we have done well. The best way is to speak out and let people listen in. And when we do that, we recognize that we're not doing the work for ourselves, 9 to 5, go home and not my business. We actually do our work so that we can glorify teamwork, people, civilization. In order for this to work, look at TED Talk. It's talk. It's not just TED. It has to have the talk. And the more we speak and speak in a manner that creates desirable effect, the better we can help people work together. So that is elevating it a bit more. You glorify the whole point about being able to speak up. And that will be it. So to Len's question, how to, I think it comes with practice. And you draw on what you know and you let it work for you. Let it work into your PREPS. First time it won't work. Second time it may not. Then it gets better. Just like Jack Ma likes to talk about the economy. He would say that tomorrow is going to be tough. The following day, tougher. The following day of the following day, worse. And when everybody else has given up, it becomes better. So we have the darkest hour, and after which we turn the corner. But most people don't. They just allow themselves to just drift off into oblivion in the darkest hour. The darkest hour is the moment to wait for, because what comes after will be better. The same thing with public speaking. Practice. Initially, it doesn't work. Terry is bullshitting. All this PREPS is crap. It doesn't work. I still get laughed at. I have no confidence. Practice again. Worse. Practice again. No diff. And when you keep at it, one day people will say, hey, what happened to you, Len? You look like you're different now. You know, remember you speak in the past, you want to run away. But right now, we hope you will speak more. Would you speak for us next week? Then you realize you are different now. Yeah. It still is something you get from your gut feel, your power, your knowledge, and something you're willing to share. All right? So with that, I'm just wondering, these things here are meant to be eaten now or eat later? After our 70 minutes. Okay, we can do this. We have about another 20 minutes or so. We have got 3 gentlemen. Right? 3 gentlemen came out? How many? We have Cedric. We have Cedric just now. We have Wei Jie. And who else stood here just now? 2. And you did, right? You spoke a little bit about yourself. Okay, fine. We do another practice. Does anybody want to? Chance for ladies, right? You like to hear from the ladies. Okay, ladies, any one of you. And the men get to ask the questions now, yeah? And now, would you like to?
I get the chance to English speaking.
English speaking, that's Maureen. Maureen, but anytime grab the opportunity, yeah, Maureen? Yeah, you can try it again. Okay, Anna, applause.
Speech training.
Yeah, impromptu speech. We speak on our feet. Would you want anybody to ask you questions or just someone? Or do you have a title or topic that you want to talk about right away? You have a question for her. Is that right? To respond to.
Tell me what you are wearing, something quite good as far as I know. Would you like to give more information about what you are wearing? There are 2. Oh, it is 2. Yeah. I thought it's a 2.
Okay.
Okay, good evening everyone. My name is Anna. So A and A and A, right? Chinese is called Xiao Yu. 元宵节的宵，就是 I'm a bilingual image consultant. Okay, Brian, thank you for the question. This is the world only one wellness device that can enhance our physical, mental, emotional health. And I have been going through a very darkest moment, like what Terry said. You go to the dark, the worst, and you will turn back, right? During COVID, I not only facing business challenge, I started off in my business, thing that came into my life, God opened the door for me, and it helped me. The first thing that I want to help was my leg. My leg was paining time, and I didn't expect these wonderful tools had helped me to raise my energy emotionally from someone that want to give up the life to become someone that inspiring others people's life. And I have people who are suffering from anxiety, depression, and society pain. Society pain means like insomnia, okay, stress in life, physical body pain. Yeah. So I feel that these tools is not only to bring health, but it's also to bring happiness and joy to our life. Because while we live in the world, while we work so hard in our business or in our work, our ultimate goal is to have a happiness life. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
May I know what is your goal in your life? Can I have one or any one or two to share with me? What is your ultimate goal in your life?
To create memories.
To create memories.
Memories.
Any more?
Be dynamic in life.
Dynamic, very good. And
Be happy.
healthy. Very good. Yes. So we have a healthy mind, healthy body, healthy to have happy life, right? Yes. So this is the fantastic tool that can reach our goal, where you can bring us health, wealth, and happiness. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, stay with us, Anna. Thank you. Stay with me. It's okay. Stay here. All right. So Anna, you get a chance to speak about something you like. Isn't that great? Something you wear and you like to share with other people. And the question comes for you to talk about that. Now, it doesn't happen very often, but whenever it happens, how do you feel?
Oh, it's interesting, and thank you for the questions. It's really unexpected, and I'm sharing something that is real. It's something is happening in my life, and I feel very comfortable and joyful.
Okay, so this is another case of like Wei Jie. You get asked a question, a domain that you are very interested in, and you're happy that people are interested in what you're interested in. So what I hear from you just now, there are two ways that we all can learn from one another to make speeches like this even better. It can always get better, that's why. So a starting point. When someone asks you this and you're very happy about it is, I get asked this quite a lot. But today, you make me feel like you're particularly interested. And that gives me a lot of joy. So you're making a point that this is something that makes you happy. Your reason for this is someone acknowledge it. Now you can elaborate. But it wasn't like this. Now, based on your question, I even at one point didn't want to go on with this life. Can you figure that? But today, I'm a joyful person. I respond to joy and positive thoughts much better than before. Yes, it has got a lot to do with the device, but it also has got to do with a certain encounter. So you can elaborate a story. Today, in your sharing, you talk about the device, but you could also add in a person because people respond to people a lot more. There was Susan. So I use Susan again a lot today. Susan walked to me and said that, Anna, you look like you're very troubled. I whisked her away because I don't like people to point out what's going on with me. I rejected her. Today, I still feel bad about it, but she did not give up. You go on and talk about it and let people see the contrast in you. And this is one way to elevate this device of yours. Okay, that is PRE. Yeah. And you end up by talking about this device has changed my life. But I think more importantly is we need people here who are prepared to look into other people's lives and help them be better. Because ultimately, this is what we can prepare, especially with something positive like yours. For that matter, any of your work. It's never just about the years in our life. I'm just taking from somewhere. It's always more about what life we inject into our years. Whether long or short. Every moment we have is as precious as eternity. Without this device, maybe my life would be shorter, but definitely less enriching. But without Susan, I might not even get to know this. So today, thank you for the question. And do thank the person who have bothered to look into your life and spoke truth to you. Do not whisk her away like I did with Susan. Embrace the good thoughts, and perhaps there is a way to reach a better solution. Because ultimately, everything will be for the better. If it's not, that's not the end of the day. So you end on a positive note, right? In the end, everything will straighten out. If it doesn't straighten out, that means it's not the end of the day. Thank you. Now, the last part you can prepare. I am preparing now because I have a lot in here. I'm just taking it out. But you can design it. Words like, it's never just about the years in our life. It's about the life that we inject into the years we have. Okay? The last part about, at the end of the day, everything will be fine. If it's not, that means it's not at the end of the day yet. And why should we bother? So when you are positive like this, you're actually embracing and demonstrating what this device can do to us. And people will be more interested with you as a person, and hence the solution that you bring. Okay, does that help? Okay, thank you very much, Anna. Now, what I've just done, if you can just flip across to the next page, I've married the practice to the next slide, which is the analysis. Yeah. So what I normally do is one-on-one or small group. And when you practice, I customize to you. I find that is a lot better way for us to reach something that you can take away and apply it right away. You find this is useful, very good. I will encourage you to get in touch with Brian or with Stephen and find out what more we can do with you or for you. Today is but a practice, and I hope you open our eyes. It is my hope that everybody gets to practice to the extent that you want to. If I'm looking at the time now sensing the aircon is getting warm, so your patience will soon run out. Will soon run out, yeah? People go, okay, But let's go to the next slide. I still want to take your questions. In the questions, if you want to practice, I will invent ways for you to do that, to stand here and feel the vibes. If not, you can ask your questions from where you are, including a gentleman who has just come in. Yeah, feel free to. And yeah, 2 gentlemen who just come in. It's okay, I won't ask you to introduce yourself, but you are entitled to ask questions, including, hey, what is this session about? Do you happen to have questions? Do you want to ask? I can let you start off first. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, if you have.
When you start a speak or at a seminar, you have to address the public.
Yes.
Is it good to ask their credentials first? Hi, what's your name? So, if there are 20 people there,
yeah,
each one takes 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That cuts so many minutes from your speech time, right?
Yes.
Then you start addressing them.
It is a good idea, but we need to control it somewhat. Very good question. What did I do today? Did I start off asking 2 persons? Yeah. So I did this today. I could have asked everybody to say 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Some will overshot and we will run short of time. That means we'll start slow and we scramble for time later. It's not good on the whole. And it also drains energy if we are not entertaining enough. So today what I did is just randomly take 2 persons. 2 is workable. And utilize these 2 to address everybody. It happened that one is a corporate secretary practice and the other one has an app that help us understand Japanese language better. It could be anything, but we need to be prepared to utilize it. So I don't have a prepared script in that sense, but I have a formula. So to your question, yes, but not too much, because we are leveraging on real people. You're real. You're not an AI. You're not a robot. Yeah, you're real. Yes, as real as anybody else. You have reason to be interested in the person sitting in front of you, because he's as real as me. But we need to manage the time. So yes, but manage the time, because we're not trying to be democratic here. Everybody have 1 vote. We're utilizing it. So you could utilize by saying that, okay, you look like a rich man. You look like the guy who drives the Rolls Royce. And today is about getting rich. And therefore I use you. Could be. But for me, no. So I don't. I take it random. So whether deliberate or random, it depends on your purpose of the speech. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Pleasure. Yeah. Any questions you have? No. Question, Anna? Okay. Then don't. Then settle for less. This could be a question about vocabulary. How much of the power, what power we have in our stomach? What we have, yeah, sure, we have. That's about it. Don't stretch beyond what we don't, because that will be the head too big for our head. We won't look balanced. So if you can't find that word, you can ask the audience. You know, I want to pay Anna a compliment. I like the way she dressed, but I don't have a word to say it. Maureen, would you help me? You have an eye for details and appreciation for beauty. Would you read my mind or express what's in your mind? How beautiful and how presentable Anna looks today? Now, she could help me, maybe someone else, but we let someone else help us. I'm lost for words. There's something in Anna's way of wearing the spectacles that inform us. What is it? Maureen, do you have that? You can ask. Friendly face, helpful face. That's one way. But we still have to be sincere and authentic. Otherwise, you appear to be very distant. Yeah, think of it. That's if you lose the word. But my preference is, so if I cannot have the bombastic word, I will use a simpler word. The best way is to go with the flow. And you would have a certain standard way of saying certain things. For example, a man will compliment a lady, will say that, you look very pleasant today, compared to, you look very sexy today. Sexy is a loaded word. It's supposed to mean good and attractive. But when I say you look very especially pleasant today, is it because of the new hairdo? Could be. It's a way of paying a compliment. But this is into protocol, this is into social graces. Maybe it opens up a very big topic. But whole point to it is, don't struggle. Let the audience help us. Because seldom do we have a speech with a wall, unless you're doing live streaming at home. Otherwise, we have people. Even if there are 3 gentlemen, be okay. The Chinese saying is 3个臭皮匠，一个诸葛亮. That means when we are 3 men together, the 3 men can become very wise, like the Zhuge Liang, a strategist in the past. But what happens if you have 3 ladies? Do they become Zhuge Liang, the strategist? They become a stage. 3个女人一台戏. That means women, they can form a drama group. To form a drama group, 3 women enough. Okay, these are the proverbs. They are meant for fun one. This is not truth. It's just funny, trying to be funny. 3个女人一台戏. You put 3 men together, talk until like, wow, drama class. No, 3 women only. But history seems to favor the men. When 3 wise men, 3 ordinary men, 1, 2, 3, do, re, mi, sit together, wow, they become like 1 wise man. So biased, history. Okay. Other questions? Yes?
I have one question for you as a professional public speaker. How you enhance the public speaking with the body language and the rhythm of voice?
Okay. Good question. It's very technical. We can't touch on it very much today, but I would like to stress that it comes from your interest in it. So today, I have limited knowledge, but I will keep using Wei Jie because I'm using him as the example of someone who is passionate about what he does. Because he knows his stuff and is passionate about it, so for him, the body language will come smoothly. But the constraint or the consideration is, we talk about Japanese app using machine learning. If you go further away, maybe he's not in so much control. So to your point, it will be, we stay with what we are strong in. We choose the battles to fight. And you will be able to come up with the things that's complementary. You see, body language is complementary. Like I'm walking now, look like I'm thinking. And Steve Jobs liked to do all this stuff. He walks around the stage, so the stage is very big. And he would do this, which is to tell us the new thing is coming. And people will take on to these visual cues. Before we become very famous, our body language is there to complement us. Like, I can just say this, before we become famous, we can use our body language to complement us, not helping. Before we become famous, we can use our body language to help us. We can do this. Or you can be like Chinese trainers, they like to do this. Before we become famous, we can use our body language to help us. Now you can do this like Shakespeare. Some people are trained for the stage, they do this. Nothing wrong, but it seems not quite right for me. So I will do what's suitable for us. For me. That's about it. There are people who like to do this again, like this. So all we can learn, but in the end, we just want to be natural. Because being natural gives us energy. And if I have to follow, wow, this guru way, I'm very tired. I keep drawing this thing. I go in this thing again. Yeah, I'm very tired. But for Maureen, she being a dancer, wow, good man. I like all this exaggerated move lah. Yeah, Terry looks like, he looks like got something tie him, not very nice. So she will do this, she will do that, and give her energy. Okay, that's all. So Lam will find his style. They give us energy. We need energy from the audience. The way you applaud, the way you smile, the way you respond helps a lot. That's all we need. Okay, question.
Based on what you say, if we are not giving enough action, half of the audience will be sleeping. In fact, I was almost wanting to sleep.
Just now, huh? Because you're not interested enough. I didn't make you interested enough. And you got other things in your mind, so you would be understandable. Understandable. So if I want to cater to you, and not Wei Jie and Daniel, for example, they come here wanting to learn something. They haven't known me, but you heard me speak before. And today I speak so many men things, and don't have funny vibes. It's understandable. And you have other things on your mind. So when it comes to this, we have to say that we can't win everybody. Now, if today I tell you, this public speaking thing will go IPO. You can make money. And working with capital chambers to offer you pre-IPO. Then maybe you because you're a money woman ma. No one else in the world have heard this. Yeah, you say, you want this, right? But today is she's fully awake now because money, right? Money, yeah. But I did not. Or today I can say that, okay, whoever caught sleeping, Dino will bite you. Then she's scared. Say, Dino bite me. Or you say that, okay, if you all pay attention, today we have a secret prize. You're gonna ask questions, you can answer, you'll bring home this and that. $50, $100 voucher and so on. I don't do this, but these are ways to be able to set up. Because we like a challenge. We don't want to be seen as not knowing, this fear of missing out, looking bad. But we also want to shine. Yeah, we also want to take home the prize because the others don't have, I have. These are ways. I don't really go deep into it because I like to be with intellectual people. So the power, the attraction is the intellect itself. So the questions you guys ask are intellectual questions. But the questions you ask are fun questions. Fun will make you respond. Intellect will make us stick together. So we choose our audience. Yeah. Okay, other questions? Yes?
What if someone got offended on a point and he responds aggressively while you're making a speech?
Do you have something you sense today? We can use that as an example.
It's not today, it's not. It doesn't happen very often, but sometimes when you speak to a large group, someone just, for example, says, I think you're bullshitting, for example. He just suddenly shouts.
Yeah, for example, I try this. I say, all we need to do is practice. You don't need to be gifted. All you need is to practice. Every day, you just talk to the wall for 30 seconds. No matter what you say, after that, you'll become very strong like me. Then you'll think, you're not even strong, come on. And talking to the wall can be, come on. If that's the case, then my dad would be like singing opera. So you don't agree with it because I'm exaggerated, I'm baseless. But even if that happens, because I make a mistake, I exaggerate and I didn't have the thing to for it and you show it. So we try to manage and we try to limit loss, cut our loss and so on. Now one way is to get out and go home. The other way is acknowledge it. And I like to acknowledge. Yeah, acknowledge. It's good to have concrete example. Yes, Daniel.
Comedians sometimes will have a response from the audience when they get angry.
Comedian.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're gonna address it or move on, right?
Yes.
I think they will probably be a good way to study how they address it.
Terry Lawson, I said that this question that is regularly impromptu still comes in.
Yep.
The flick of lightning second, you must be so smart enough
Yes.
to handle it diplomatically. Although sounds offensive, but we can turn it around.
Yes.
Depending on how we answer, how we cook.
That's right.
Take it, yeah?
That's right.
It can even turn out into a joke.
It could be. It could be. You can try that. We can try that. In fact, we have some practice. It's called working with difficult audience. Let's take for example. Just now she yawned. Just now she answered phone call and talked very loud. Heng Lui lah. Then she loan shark ma. She want to carry money on this. So she seemed distracted and she's distracting the rest. So if I'm here, I'll feel embarrassed, right? Because she is rejecting this, especially the speaker. Yes, you can say that she's impolite, but clearly she wasn't connected. This is a way to also show that she may be offended by what's going on, not interested. It just takes an example, because I know Maureen has a big heart, she can take this. Imagine this is, and it's becoming difficult. We can just halt and look at her, not in an aggressive manner, and wait for her to finish. She'll be conscious, I believe, and say that, Maureen, I can't help but hear what you say just now, because for a moment, I suspected it's more interesting than what I'm about to say. Yeah. Yes, because you acknowledge that she has something important, perhaps interesting to her. But we don't want to be very sarcastic. Just now very interesting, huh? So you just talk to yourself, you disturb us that, you know, I don't have to do this kind of stuff, right? Just acknowledge that it's true. Otherwise, why would she be on the phone? It must be important enough. She's interested enough. Otherwise, you say, sorry, call you back. Then she look at us. It's okay. It's all relative value. You need to acknowledge it. Then the energy will preserve, the positive one. Okay. Any chance you can tell us what it's about? Maybe you say, sorry, no, it's okay. You realize, now we bring it back. You realize in public speaking, we actually do not operate alone. We need everybody. And any person who had a different direction, it will create a different impact. Now, that exactly is the point I was making just now, just that she was distracted and she could distract other people. So, how do we pull everybody in the same direction? Let's have something that everybody likes to eat. Yeah? Let's have this and that. Let's bring it back. Yes, that is thinking on your feet, because we don't anticipate this happening. Unless we are ready for war. So we stress test, just like the app. We stress test. Drop on floor. When the Apple phone go below 0 degrees, it's shut down. When it come back, there's the app back again. We stress test every scenario. That's very being scientific about it. It's possible, but we want to go to that way. We stress test that. When the aircon is at 23 degrees, everybody is ha. And when it is 28, less ha. When it's 33, want to zao. So we know, now maybe we should cut our loss. We should have some brownie to make up for it, and we should save ourselves for another day. It's possible. Yeah. So I wouldn't really belabor the point. We promised you 70 minutes. We started a bit late, so now we still have 70 minutes elapsed. And we can take more questions. I believe this one is not for him, Dino, sorry. It's for us, and we can just enjoy this, exchange your contacts. It's part of the networking. But I want to ask Brian or Stephen, anything else to add to that before we end? I think so. You can ask, and we will forward some more to the QR code. We do two things at the same time. More questions, invite you to scan the QR code as well. Come.
You are rebutting in a debate. Sometimes it could be nasty, become a war.
Debate, yes. If it's a debate, yes.
Then it becomes so aggressive, it becomes a war.
Yeah.
And there's a battle of words, insults.
Yeah.
Then how do you cover that up in the end?
Don't get there in the first place. This is quite clear, because we are not United Nations.
Between two businessmen also it can happen.
Then that's not public speaking. That's called public crying or debates.
In front of customers.
In front of customers?
Suppose you are a big enterprise like you are.
Okay.
FD and
Yeah.
CD and so forth. So they are between them, and they say my product is the best. But in public, they come on TV.
QR code. Yes. My principle is don't even get there. Just like never argue with your wife, or never argue with zabo woman, because you don't win. You win, you still lose. So in business, it's like this. In wartime, no one wins. In peacetime, no one loses. Yeah. These are the things we can conserve, use in speeches. People won't disagree with this. Even my enemy or rival use this kind of things to bring people together. Because we can do better together. Use this. Yes, I'm very angry with you, let's say. But I use these words to bring us together and contain it. I don't say that, what I'm trying to say. What do you mean? Like the other time, every time you do this, these are wise words. We don't act like wife. Wife always remember. Like last time, always late, always make us wait. So nice, cannot get to eat. Want to bring home, right? Wait until I angry, cannot eat. Don't talk like this. We may think like this. So we will do this. We do high words, which are true. We may not mean it. It is better that we mean it. Just like this QR code. You can scan it, and you can respond to it, like how well we do, how crappy we are today. It's going to be useful to us. Yeah. So I would urge you to do that. Meanwhile, you can ask some other questions. But by and large, to contentious situations, we want to continue with larger. There's this guy, an author, who responded to something like this. They say that you are a Chinese author. Who do you think you are? How can you win a Nobel Prize in Literature? So confrontational. Yeah. To that, he responded to the other Chinese author that, yes, we are authors. Yes, we are prize winners. But above all, we are the Chinese people. So when he said that, the guy who is very angry that he didn't win, he said, who do you think you are? How can you win this prize? You are just another writer. Yes, we are all writers. But more importantly is, we are the Chinese people. And today, this moment, we celebrate the Chinese people for the first time in history winning the Nobel Prize of Literature. See, he cannot say no to this because he's a Chinese person. It just happens that he didn't win it. But all the Chinese people are celebrating. You are a Chinese person. Why wouldn't you celebrate it? You're just sour that you didn't win it. So we bring it a bit higher. There's no end to all these responses, but we mean to think of broader and bigger. Alan?
What importance is the eye connectivity to the audience? They say audience more than 500.
If it's more than 500, there will be no eye contact. It looks like there is. So now I can still look at you. Ideally, 2 seconds, not very longer. Otherwise, you think I'm interested in you. Problem. Otherwise, you think I'm angry with you. You say, simi daiji. What happened to me? So with 500, chances are the lights will be brighter. The stage, I could be lower, I could be higher, but I'll be looking at the middle half. That means if the furthest is Qinjie, the nearest is Daniel, I will look at Maureen's around there, and I will look left and right, so that you will know that I am looking at everybody. Can't be looking at you all the time. And the furthest one will think that I'm trying to look at them. And this one will think that you're a bit off, but not too far. So we do the middle half. Yeah, if you have 500. But still, because when you have 500, chances are these are VIPs. So you cannot pretend that all the way lah. You're likely to say that magistrate, judges, you can say that this VIP sponsor, they usually stand in front. So at least you one time talk about that. Thank you FNN, thank you CapitaLand, and thank you Capital Chambers, and also thank you JTC. You can say all this stuff. You say that today I can't imagine being able to stand here without JTC Launchpad. Without our sponsor and promoter, Capital Chambers, I don't think we have the next time. But collectively, we're going to have the key reason why we'll be back again. So we address everybody in that manner. But still the middle further half. So it's midfielder, and a bit further that we do. Okay. Do you get a chance to scan this already?
Yeah.
Good, huh? Okay. There might be other questions, but we can try to connect by scanning this QR code and leaving your questions there. Right, today we have this event run by Capital Chambers. I got the name correct, huh? Okay. And we are here in Launchpad by JTC. This is U Club, also used to be called U Commune. So it is a confluence of quite a few factors and but one of the jigsaw puzzle. The largest part of it is everyone here for your participation. So for that, I am very glad. It's a great way to start my weekend, and I also wish you a wonderful weekend. Thank you very much.